George Harrison was asked what he thought of the LP.
That would be something, and maybe I'm amazed. I think are great. And everything else, I think, is fair, you know, is quite good. But a little disappointing. But I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be disappointed. Maybe I shouldn't, you know, it's best not to expect anything, and then everything's bonus, you know. But I think those two tracks in particular are really very good. And the others, just don't do much for me. Because, I can hear other people play better drums and guitars and things. And the arrangements of, like, some of these songs, like Teddy Boy and Junk and stuff, you know, with a little bit more arrangement, you know, they could have sounded better.
That would be something, it really would be something. That would be something. Beach in the falling rain, mama. Beach in the falling rain. Beach in the falling rain, mama. Beach in the falling rain. That would be something. Really would be something. That would be something. Beach in the falling rain, mama. Beach in the falling rain. Beach in the falling rain, mama. Beach in the falling rain. Beach in the falling rain, mama. Beach in the falling rain. That would be something. Really would be something. That would be something. To beach in the falling rain, mama. Beach in the falling rain. Beach in the falling rain, mama. Beach in the falling rain.
Both me, Ringo and John, not only do we see each other, but we see so many musicians and other bands and things like that. You know, maybe Paul does too, but I just get the impression that he doesn't, that he's so isolated from it. He's out on a limb. The only person who's got to tell him if the song's good or bad is Linda. And so, you know, in the Beatles days, if somebody came in with a song that was, you know, had a corny line or that was, you know, the other's got a bit embarrassed about, we'd say, you know.
And we was lonely, yes, we was lonely, and we was hard-pressed to find a smile. And we was lonely, yes, we was lonely, but now we're fine all the while. I used to ride on my fast city line, singing songs that I thought were mine alone, alone. Now let me lie with my love for the time I am home, 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 home. And we was lonely, yes we was lonely, and we was hard-pressed to find a smile. And we was lonely, yes we was lonely, but now we're fine all the while.
Paul and Linda McCartney with tracks from their LP released on April the 17th, 1970. Paul's reason for being so firm about the date of issue was simple. With all the business dramas going on, he didn't believe that the Let It Be film and album were as imminent as had been stated, and so was afraid that his production would be delayed further. As it turned out, the Let It Be album, The Beatles' Last, was released on May the 8th. The original tracks had been recorded prior to Abbey Road and consisted of something like 29 hours of tape, which engineer Glyn Johns cut down to size, and John eventually did some more work on them with Phil Spector.
I Dig a Pygmy by Charles Hawtrey on the Deaf Aids. Phase 1, in which Doris gets her oats. Riding nowhere, spending someone's modern days.
also we put on Across the Universe, which was a song on the album for the charity album that came out for Wildlife. And that really got lost. It's been around for about 3 years now. 1967, I think we did that.
Words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither wildly as they slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy are drifting through my opened mind, possessing and caressing me. Before me like a million eyes, they call me all along across the universe. Holds me under like a restless wind inside a letterbox. They tumble blindly as they make their way across the universe.
Across the Universe. Paul was never happy with Spector's additions to the Let It Be recordings, and one track that particularly offended him was this untypical Beatles sound in The Long and Winding Road.
The long and winding road that leads to your door will never disappear. I've seen that road before. It always leads me here. Lead me to your door. The wild and windy night that the rain washed away.
ultimate Beatles, complete with heavenly choir, harp and large string orchestra. It's no wonder Paul wasn't pleased. To the other Beatles, it was history. Recorded during the early part of 1969, it was already 18 months out of date when the film had its premiere in London and 100 major cities round the world.
WLS Chicago, where you're listening to The Beatles Story, part of our Christmas gift to you. The Beatles Story, a rockography of the world supergroup. Presented by WLS and the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Chicago.
Some folks are born to live in a mansion, while others blister in the sun.
Mr. Joe Simon.
Oh, some people worry about tomorrow, but I'll just take it as it comes. Most men will wait for half a lifetime to get what I've got when they get done. Like taking in the sun, sitting by the river, giving the fishing line a try, sipping coke when the throat gets dry, just taking life the way it comes. Like Coke is Coca-Cola.
The boys moved further afield. Ringo flew out for a recording session in Nashville, where he was backed by some of the top country and western musicians and singers. The result was this LP, Bukus of Blues.
I left Louisiana, I had me big plans to go out and take me all over this land. To see me the world, I left my sweet girl, gave it a whirl, but now here I stand, alongside the road, with holes in my soul, in my shoes, and bukus the blues. Oh, sweet magnolia, breath carried over the marsh by the breeze from the Gulf. I'm coming home. Coming home. I've had me enough. Oh, where are the things I saw in my dreams? Where's the happy the freedom should bring? I see me today, but know yesterday that I threw away my most precious thing. I see me a man who's lonely ones only to lose. Bukus of blues. Oh, sweet magnolia, breath carried over the marsh by breeze from the Gulf. I'm coming home. Coming home. I've had me enough. I'm coming home. Coming home. I've had me enough.
And there'll be more individual Beatles music in the next program. But to complete the events of 1970, one can't ignore the emerging talent of George Harrison.
What I feel, I can't say.
Hennessy of Record Mirror asked George how much influence Phil Spector had had.
A lot, actually. You see, the good thing with Phil, for me, was that I've always loved everything, you know, all those Phil Spector records. I always liked that. In fact, some of the things I was producing before my own album, I was sort of trying to figure out how he did all that. So it was good because, first of all, an artist definitely needs somebody in the control booth, because you can spend hours routining a song with musicians and come into the control box and find that it's a terrible sound. So you really need somebody, and ideally you need somebody who is sympathetic to what you know. So Phil was great for that. Phil worked on all the sessions for the basic tracks. I did all the overdubs without him, and then he came back and mixed it with me. It was good also to find out, like, Phil's technique of recording, the echo, and just how he makes that sound, because now it's just so obvious, really.
Isn't it a pity? Shame how we break each other's hearts, cause each other pain, how we take each other's love without thinking anymore. Some things takes a long
Isn't It a Pity by George Harrison. We'll hear more from that album too in the next episode. The final solo album of 1970 was by John and contained a very personal collection of sentiment and rock.
Well, well, well. Oh, well. Well, well, well. Oh, well. I took my love out to dinner so we could get a bite to eat. And though we both had too much sugar, she looked so beautiful I could eat her. Well, well, well. Oh, well. Well, well, well. Oh, well. I took my love to the big so we could watch the English sky. We both were nervous, feeling dead, and neither one of us knew just why. Well, well, well. Oh, well. Well, well, well. Oh, well. Well, well. Oh, well. Well, well, well. Oh, well. 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 Well, well, well. Oh, well. Well, well, well. Oh, well. Well, well, well.
John's rock-influenced vocal sound contrasting very much with this romantic ballad, Love.
Love is real.